Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. This is going to be a really good talk, and I want to make sure I leave a good amount of time for questions. And Dr. Mike is a wonderful expert teacher, has been involved in holistic health for many years, and has a really great background. So we're going to get to that in just a second. Let me see if I can find the clicker, see if it works. And it does work. So I want to remind everybody quickly about a couple of upcoming events. On the second Friday of each month, which this time will be 11th, on the 11th, we will be back out at Merritt Square Mall. We do our Walk with the Doc program there every second Friday. Come join us at 9 a.m. And big thing this Saturday, though, at Merritt Square Mall. Karen, do you want to come up and talk about Senior Appreciation Day for just a second? Saturday, 11 to 3, come out and see us at the Merritt Square Mall, because we're going to be out there with our friends from ARP and One Senior Place.
And there'll also be a lot of other vendors there that are all going to be geared towards seniors, all of us. Lots of prizes, raffles, giveaways, food, snacks, all kinds of stuff. So come see us. It's going to be fun, fun, fun. Fun, 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 right? Yeah. We're going to recruit people for Walk with the Doc. We're going to recruit you for the Alzheimer's Walk. So come prepared to be recruited.
Yeah. We will be talking about the Walk to End Alzheimer's here in a little bit with the help of Stacy Martin, who is a great friend of Helping Seniors as well. And that is coming up, so you have that on your calendar. It's the 26th of September. So we got lots of stuff coming up. Another thing I want to remind you is every second Friday, we're doing the Senior Planet Senior Tech Talks right back here. And you guys know Bree Prentice. She is the one who leads the classes. She's been on talking a lot about AI and how to make it work for you in these past couple of sessions. But the cool thing is we've got some volunteers called Mind Care Medics. They're like top of the class kind of senior students from West Shore Junior Senior High. And they are coming in doing a mobile phone clinic. So when you need to know how to do the app or update things, or you can't figure out how to call your grandkids or something like that, it's a great thing to do. So you come at 2 p.m. It's going to be 2 p.m. this time, and then 3 p.m. is the lab. And so bring your device, and we'll have a good time. Everything is free and fun. That is the September the 11th. It'll be 2 p.m. for that. So I'm going to say take one, pass it down. Or Bill, since you're a great person with the car raffle. So we are in car raffle season. The other date I want to make sure that you guys have 100% down is October 25th, 2026. And we want to see you at the American Muscle Car Museum, because we have a great fun out there. Bill, who is kind enough to be passing these things around, including to all of our great exhibitor tables behind us too. This is our big fundraiser every year. What this does is enables us to do 2027. So it's really that important. It's about half of our budget each year, and this is a fun way to raise money for Helping Seniors. When you buy your raffle tickets, first of all, somebody's going to win a car that afternoon. It might as well be you. But the big fun is being at the museum and having a great time, because inside you get to tour the museum. There's 500 cars, I think, just about now inside that collection. It is absolutely amazing. Even if you've been there before, Mark keeps adding cars, so you don't want to miss it. And then Bill, who is our great car show friend organizer, he is going to he's invited a lot of his car friends. So there's going to be a car show outside going on at the same time that all the cars are inside. And so they're setting it up so that it's going to be, since it's the last Sunday in October, we're calling it a fall festival, so we're inviting kids out. He's telling all his drivers load up the trunks with candy so kids can come by and collect some candy, and they can come in costumes, whatever they want to do like that. It was so much fun last year, and it really is the budget for next year for Helping Seniors. So you do not have to be present to win. So don't let the fact, if you happen to be out of town that day, stop you from getting a ticket, because you could still be the winner anyway. And in any case, you are a winner for supporting Helping Seniors. How does it work? One ticket is a $25 donation. 5 is a $100 donation. And you can do that even today by cash check or credit card. Just see me or talk to me during break. And there's a QR code that will get you there too. But we hope you'll support the work of Helping Seniors. And then last thing I wanted to That's actually about the Sunday at the museum. And then we are still in the middle of our putting together the plans for our January 9th Helping Seniors Foundation cruise. We get to go out on the MSC Grandiosa, a 7-night cruise that leaves right here out of Port Canaveral. You're traveling not only with great friends from Brevard County, but you're actually traveling with your own special needs certified travel agents on board, because Chris and Betty Morse come with us. And so it's a great time. This is now our 7th, and nobody chases you. It's a fundraiser, but nobody chases you around the ship asking for money, because MSC Cruises makes a donation back to Helping Seniors based on the number of people that are coming with us. So I hope you will be one of those. And so kind of with that, I want to find Dr. Mike and invite him up here. We've been friends for a bunch of years. Many of you, when he gave a talk about your brain health, right? Really powerful and really strong. But now I want to bring him up, and we're going to talk about GERD, which, as I understand, if I'm saying it right, it's kind of like the acid reflux talk and all of that kind of stuff. And he's going to help us understand it and find some ways to manage or even cure it. So, ladies and gentlemen, for our friend, Dr. Mike Edwards.
Thank you, Kerry.
Clicker, sir.
Welcome. You'll have to forgive me this morning. I forgot my hearing aid, so if you have a question, speak up. Has anybody in here never had acid indigestion or GERD? Raise their hand. Really? You don't know what you're missing. But if you're lucky, you might get some as you get older, like the rest of us. Those of us that have had GERD, have you been able to manage it yourself pretty much without medications? Yeah, that's kind of hard. Okay. What we're going to be talking about is ways to manage without GERD, because I've had some very close relatives that had a lot of issues, not only with GERD itself, but with the medication. And you don't need medication to manage your GERD. And if you have medications to manage your GERD, you could have a number of other issues that goes along with that medication. And we'll talk about that as we go. What is GERD? We're going to talk about what it is, the symptoms, lifestyle changes, treatments, and the dangers of GERD. Very briefly, a condition that develops when the contents of the stomach causes unwanted symptoms, often followed by a burning sensation, more often brushed off as acid indigestion. And that's kind of what it feels like. Sometimes you feel like you've got a fire in your stomach or your esophagus or the upper part of your throat. Generally, there are so many common causes. One of the biggest one is eating too much at one time. My brother had constant GERD, and I kept saying, you've got to cut back on what you eat at every sitting. You've got to chew your food. We always used to wait for our mother to eat, because she must have chewed, 100 times every mouthful or whatever it was. But we learned later on that that's very good. The more you chew your food, the more easily it's digested and broken down. You could have a hiatal hernia, impaired salivary function, delayed gastric emptying, which is another issue all in itself, but also bending or lying down within a couple hours of eating. Some of us have a tendency to eat late meals in the evening, and then we go lay down to go to bed within an hour or so, and we have this GERD. Whereas if we would have eaten earlier, that might have not have happened. You've got what's called this lower esophageal sphincter between your esophagus and the tip of your stomach there, that sometimes the contents will leak through. Especially if you have too much to eat, there's a lot of pressure to push that back up. Symptoms are heartburn, belching, coughing, wheezing, chest pain, sore throat, and regurgitation. My brother started off with his GERD. He had a sore throat. And then one day we noticed he had uncontrollable coughing. And that went on for several weeks before we insisted that he go see a doctor. And that was really too late for him. What had happened was that the acid had burned a hole in that sphincter up there, and acid was coming up in his esophagus, and when he would breathe, the acid would come into his lungs, and it started eating away his lung tissue. I gave a lecture down at the Senior Center in Palm Bay a couple years ago, where one of the gentlemen that was a participant in my audience said he had to have his esophagus replaced because of all the GERD and acid that he had for years. You probably can't read this. 2 anteaters are in there. One of them says, "I can't sleep. I have indigestion from eating all those fire ants before bed." And the other guy says, "You better take an antacid." Anyway, I apologize for that. Typical symptoms: heartburn, regurgitation, abdominal pain, coughing, dysphagia for solids, hoarseness, belching, aspiration, which my brother had, wheezing, and I'm not sure what globus is. I'll have to look that up. Anybody know what globus is? Okay. Things that cause GERD. And actually, I have a sheet here for you. Which is the same sheet that you see there. If you'll pass these around, and I'll send some around over here. I think we've got enough for everyone. Whoops, what happened to our... We lost our presentation for some reason. Momentary delay here while you're reading your sheets. Okay, here we go. Let me go back to where we were. Okay. Sodas. Do we have any soda drinkers in the audience? Whoa, be careful with those sodas. You know how bad they are for us. Start reading your labels. You might change your mind about some of those sodas. Chocolate, red wine. We have any red wine drinkers? Especially at night. Red wine can really cause a lot of regurgitation and acid buildup in your throat. Tobacco, if we still have any smokers. Coffee. Citrus, especially citrus fruits, alcohol, fatty or fried foods, peppermint, peanuts and peanut butter, onions and garlic. My grandmother never ate onions, and I never could understand that until I got older. And a lot of people have these GERD issues with garlic and onions. Tomatoes and tomato products, really bad. If we have any Italians in the audience, watch that tomato sauce. Watch those tomatoes and tomato sauce. Even ketchup might cause problems with some people. Other causes: pregnancy, being overweight, bending, lying down, or stooping or straining within 2 hours of eating, tight clothing, belts, too much liquid. A lot of people don't realize that this is a big culprit with GERD. What happens, I'm guilty of it too, going out to a restaurant and having 2 or 3 glasses of tea or other beverages, and what happens, it dilutes stomach acid that we have. We need stomach acid to be strong, and if it's too diluted, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Medications such as antibiotics, aspirin, and nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are also culprits. What some people do, if they lay down at night and they've got this acid indigestion, you can feel that burning in your throat. We get up and have maybe a half of a teaspoon of baking soda and some water. Mix that up and drink it down, and it calms down that burning sensation that we've got. It works very, very well. Some people use ginger tea or ginger capsules, antacids, Rolaids, Mylanta, Malat. The problem with antacids, many times you have a, what's it called? You have a kickback. What's it called? You have a... No, your body produces more acid after that antacid dissipates. I can't think of the term right now. Acid, no. Zantac, some of these, these are some of the prescription stuff that you'll get, and also considered called PPIs, protein pump inhibitors. But the problem with protein pump inhibitors is that we age, our body produces less and less stomach acid. So what's going to happen if we take PPIs? We're not going to have any acid. The acid that is being produced is not going to be produced anymore, and it's just going to multiply the problems that we've got. Baking soda is a good idea, ginger, and also raising the head of your bed very slightly. I think I've got another graphic about that. Don't put another pillow under your head, because when I was an instructor with the American Red Cross, we learned one of the first things you do when you resuscitate someone is you tilt that head back to open up that esophagus. But if you put 2 or 3 pillows under your head to raise up your head from your stomach, it could cause a cramp, and it might shut off your air supply. And it doesn't do anything to alleviate this GERD problem. What I would suggest you do is maybe put a couple telephone books, if anybody still has a telephone book, or maybe some other book, under the head post of your bed, and just very gradually have an incline in your bed. Helps a lot. Yes, sir.
I had a gastroenterologist tell me, because I have trouble with PPIs, I'm B12 deficient, so they deplete B12.
Right.
But he said to take 3 Gaviscon.
3 what?
Gaviscon?
Gaviscon?
Yeah, and chew them up, and they get foamy, and let them get foamy in your mouth, and then swallow that, and then it'll sit on top of that acid in your stomach. It's not an antacid, but it keeps the acid from coming back.
Okay. Well, I haven't heard about that. Yes, sir.
What's your opinion of apple cider vinegar?
I'll get to that. Good question. Good question. Before you take medications for long-term relief of GERD, try to get an acid test. Your doctor can do an acid test to find out. I think they drop a little capsule down your throat into your stomach, and it takes a sample to find out if in fact you have too much acid or too little. I insisted that my brother do that before he took any more PPIs, and he found out he was low in acid. I'm glad that he wasn't put on PPIs. Also, you could develop GERD because of overuse of antibiotics, H. pylori infections in your stomach, chronic stress, poor diet, or on the go. Take your time when you eat. Overuse of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, we talked about that. PPIs, you could have a small intestinal bacterial growth. Aging, it's because we're getting older. Food sensitivities that you're not aware of. The importance of stomach acid. There are numerous reasons that we have stomach acid, and when you do away with stomach acid, it causes a lot of problems. One of the main problems, especially right now, you hear all this, there's a new bug going around. I'm sure we've all heard about this new bug. And I'm waiting to see if a lot of these people that have had the most problems with this bug are on PPIs, have no stomach acid, because the stomach acid normally kills bacteria and viruses, unless it's too diluted or we don't have enough stomach acid. Acid signals the pancreas to release digestive enzymes. Acid initiates peristalsis to move waste through the system. Acid is essential for the absorption of B vitamins. I think someone mentioned B vitamins, gentleman right there, especially B12 for healthy brains, nervous systems, and memory. Using my mother for an example, she was on PPIs for 20 years. Where if you read the inserts of the PPIs, it said take these for like a maximum of 2 or 3 weeks. But doctors will just keep renewing these prescriptions over and over and over. And it causes long-term issues. Her issues when she passed away at 102 and a half was dementia and macular degeneration, both of which can be caused by nutritional deficiencies. So don't take these things long-term. But I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you, you can't just shut these PPIs off. It's kind of like stopping heart medications. You just can't stop them. You have to do that under the eyes of a physician, because it could cause a lot of problems. Also, acid reduces the size of food clumps for easy digestion. It helps to separate protein. So if you have low acid or no acid, you can't digest that protein at all. This is a chart here that talks about the difference between acids and bases, or acids and alkaline, where antacids are way down here. Dental treatment rinses, antacids, baking soda. Up here on the other side, you've got battery acid as a pH of 0, then stomach acid is right next to it. Stomach acid is pretty strong stuff. And some people that want to build up their stomach acid will take what's called beta HCl, which stands for hydrochloric acid, little capsules of hydrochloric acid you can actually take. You might want to do that with your physician's okay, because you might get too much and have some more distress in your stomach. Normally, you know, you've got plenty of acid if you take those acid tablets and you have a warmth in your stomach. Prescribed medications, there are a whole bunch of them. I can't pronounce them all, but you should only take them for 2 or 3 weeks, not for 2 or 3 years or more. That could cause long-term problems. How big is the GERD industry? It's huge. When I was a health education program manager at Patrick Air Force Base, sometimes I could sit in the pharmacy meetings. And in one pharmacy meeting, they said that GERD medication was their #1 prescribed medication, where it's easily managed for most people. It's over a $2.34 billion industry. Acid reflux has increased by 50% over the last decade. The gastric subset hence forms a prominent target population for GERD therapies. Talking to Patrick, they were the most widely prescribed medication. The cash cow for the pharmaceutical industry. Some people need it, but most people don't need it. Most of the time you can manage it or control it with some of these tips. Risk for PPIs, malabsorption of nutrients in food, beverages, and food supplements, malabsorption of medications, high risk for breaking a hip, low levels of magnesium causing tremors, constipation, muscle cramp, irregular gastrodistresses and infections including pneumonia, intestinal disease, Clostridium difficile, which can cause extreme diarrhea, severe dehydration, or even death. German researchers that people over 75 or older who regularly take these medications had a 44% increase in dementia. That was very evident with my mom. Diseases, Addison disease, asthma, celiac disease, diabetes, eczema, food allergies, I don't want to read all these, gallbladder disease, gastric cancers, hepatitis, Graves' disease, osteoporosis. If you're not breaking down and absorbing that calcium and magnesium, even vertigo, colitis, hair loss, multiple sclerosis, and rheumatoid arthritis. We need stomach acid. Most of us don't have enough. The bottom line is the concern has been increasing with Americans might be overusing PPIs to treat minor cases of heartburn or acid reflux. As many as 70% of the PPI prescriptions in the United States have been inappropriately handed out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I think a truck just came over. Okay. 25% of long-term users could stop taking medication without suffering increased heartburn or acid reflux, according to a study published in JAMA. Overuse of PPIs have drastic effects on health. The study found, for example, the medications have been linked to 20 to 50% increase in chronic kidney disease. This is a sketch here of the way I think you could adjust your bed if you're having GERD issues. Put something under the head post here, or even you could get a triangle, foam triangle, to put between your mattresses, as long as it's gradual and it's not too sharp. That works very, very well. Add more enzymes to your diet. I used to yell at my brother, who I knew he had an enzyme issue because he was always burping and passing gas. And I said, get some more enzymes in your system. You know, you can either take enzyme tablets that you can buy in the store, or you could get more pineapple in your diet, or papaya. They both are loaded with digestive enzymes, and most of us have too little enzymes because enzymes die very easily with heat. So anytime we cook our fruits and vegetables, like we're doing now because of this bug going around, it kills most of the enzymes. And if we don't have enzymes to start breaking down our food before our digestive acids gets to it, it might not get properly broken down. Enzymes called pepsin and trypsin digest dietary proteins. Lipase is secreted by your pancreas and helps break down dietary fats. The enzyme amylase stimulates the digestion of dietary starch. All fresh fruit and vegetables have live enzymes, but once you cook them, the enzymes are gone. Excellent sources, again, are papayas and pineapples. What questions do we have on GERD? That's pretty much what I wanted to get out to you, but I wanted to find out if you had any other specific questions that I didn't hit on. Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to come around with a microphone, not because you guys can't hear them here, but it's because we're actually not only recording, but it's also out on YouTube and Facebook.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, I went to the doctor about this. I had a pain right underneath my right breast, like right here. And when I would push on it, I would burp. So I knew it was something digestive, and thank God it went away completely. But she sent me in for kidney stones. But what is right there, right there that would cause me, when I pushed on there, I would belch and burp?
You know, it's hard to say. I mean, your stomach is right around this area, but you've got your diaphragm down in here too. Sometimes I have some issues here or there. Is that me or you? Who's doing the humming around here? It's really hard to say. You'd probably need a good diagnosis. If you're, you could just have some air trapped in your esophagus or something. I mean, sometimes at night I'll lay down and I'll feel like I've got some GERD, but I just need to sit up and then have a burp. Okay. You know. Yeah. But if okay, then you're in good shape then. But it's hard to diagnose it without experiencing it. Did you have a question? No. Anyone? Yes, sir. Oh.
Thank you. Very interesting. I have a hiatal hernia, and I understand that's part of your stomach protrudes through your diaphragm. Is there any way of fixing that or helping that without surgery? And what if you just lose a little weight? Will that make that go away or get better by just losing a little stomach fat?
Well, it's amazing what losing a little weight could do, and it's certainly worth a try. I'm not real sure. I know surgery's the kind of number one thing that doctors, of course, would want to do. But are you still having a recurring issue with GERD? Yeah. I'm not sure, actually. I'd be hesitant to make a guess. I just say manage it the best you can and follow these guidelines, see if any of this stuff helps you at all. That's beyond my scope. I'd be guessing to say something, so I'd rather not. But I'll look it up, and if I run into anything, leave your name and phone number, and I'll get back to you. That's a good question, though. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
What about medications that we take? That affects your digestive system. I just recently realized that if you take statin, there's an enzyme that's destroyed with the statin drug, that CoQ10 is required to replace that enzyme.
Were you asking a question about CoQ10 or?
I'm asking about what medications affects your digestive system and the enzymes you were talking about.
I'm not real sure. I know that a lot of doctors, for one reason or another, don't suggest that you take some CoQ10 if you're on statins because statins deplete our CoQ10, and you'll experience muscle pain and muscle wasting and all that kind of stuff. I hate to recommend not to take statins, but a lot of people I know with statins have had a lot of muscle pain, joint pain, and memory issues, big time memory issues. So, you know, I would look at natural remedies for that rather than medications. There's a great herbalist downtown at Mama Joe's. You got Mama Joe's, and also what's the Herb Appeal right across from the brewery downtown. You can go in and talk to Jim, who used to be a pharmaceutical rep. Mrs. Mango's Herb Appeal, that's the name of the herb shop. You can go in and tell Jim, my doctor prescribed me this medication. Are there any herbs that you can suggest that would do the same thing? And inevitably, he'll come up with an herb or a mixture of herbs that will address the problem without side effects. So you might want to consider that. There are lots of stuff you can take to calm down cholesterol issues and things like that, rather than statins. That was a great question, though. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a comment. I left a doctor because she gave me 2 statins, and I had the most severe leg cramps in the middle of the night. I mean, I was livid, and I actually threw them away. I didn't even need them. She gave them to me as a preventative. And I told her I'd rather die than take those pills.
Yeah.
And I got a new doctor.
Yeah. Well, years ago, the pharmaceutical industry wanted to put statins in our water supply for preventative purposes, and luckily that got nixed. You know, we've already got enough chemicals and chlorine, and we just got fluoride out of our water system down here, which causes brittle bones and other issues that you just don't hear about from your doctor. So I always tell people to do your own research. There's a wealth of information on YouTube these days. You know, try to find some that are presented by doctors that have some kind of background rather than just somebody that's doing a YouTube channel. But I mean, I sit in front of the TV and watch a lot of these YouTube channels to upgrade my information, because so many things have changed. I mean, I got my master's degree in health education back in 2000, and we were still recommended that you use canola oil. It was a good oil. And we find out now that very seldom is canola oil good for you unless you are lucky enough to find organic canola oil. But canola oil was used originally as an industrial lubricant. You know, soybean oil, of course, is a bad oil. You know, you see the jar or the container that says vegetable oil. You go into a restaurant and you ask them what kind of oil they use, which is, my family used to get mad at me years ago, but now a lot of people are asking what kind of oil you're using, because seed oils create a lot of toxicity and inflammation in our bodies. But you see a container of vegetable oil and you just assume it's a healthy oil. But you turn it around on the back and it's soybean oil, and soybean oil is genetically modified, and it's a terrible oil. It'll cause a lot of GERD and inflammation. Stay away, in my opinion, soybean oil, canola oil, any seed oils except avocado oil, which some people consider a seed oil, but avocado oil is not made from the seed, it's made from the meat of the avocado. Avocado is a good oil. We used to say peanut oil was good because it was a monosaturated, but I don't see anybody pushing peanut oil these days. The good oils are coconut oil, even though it's saturated. It doesn't have any cholesterol. It's not from meat, it's from coconuts. That's an excellent oil for cooking, deep fat frying even. What else do we use these days? Well, soybean oil, avocado oil. Anybody else have a suggestion? Olive oil is great for sauteing, but not good for really hot frying. It breaks down really hot frying, but it's a great nutritious oil. A lot of people take a teaspoon at night, helps them sleep and calm down any carbohydrates that are still being worked with your liver. Teaspoon of olive oil is great. What else? Any other oils? Am I missing any? Those are the main ones, but also if you have any seed oils like safflower, sunflower, soybean oil, that needs to be kept in the refrigerator. I don't know if anybody's ever had any spoiled oil, rancid oil. Can anybody tell me what rancid oil smells like? Smells like paint. Smells like oil paint. I remember going to a fish fry down at Sebastian Inlet a couple years back, and a friend of mine had a friend that cooked up a whole bunch of fish for all these friends of his. And I looked under the counter, and he was cooking with soybean oil, of course. And I opened the container and sniffed it. And I said, "You don't want to use that oil." I said, "It's rancid." Well, sure enough, he went ahead and used that rancid oil. Everybody got sick but me because I didn't eat any. So be careful if you've got any oils in the cabinet. Now, normally olive oil is okay. You don't need refrigerated olive oil. It might become a solid, but if you take it out, you know, it'll be a liquid again. Avocado oil, I'd keep it in the refrigerator. Most any oils I keep in the refrigerator, even though they might not break down very quickly, but be sure you're not using any of those seed oils. It might be causing some other health issues you're not aware of. Those are great questions. Any other?
What about just vegetable oil? Is it just
Well, when I go to a restaurant and someone says, I say, "What kind of oil do you use?" And they're a big smile. "We use vegetable oil." And I say, "Which one?" You've got like a dozen vegetables. You know, you got the sunflower, the safflower, you got peanut, you got all these vegetables. I want to be sure. And I went to a restaurant, and the lady couldn't figure out what kind of oil she was using. She kept coming. I said, "Look, turn around. Look at the label. It'll break down what kind of oil you're using." And that's a hazard of eating out, because they're in it for the money. They want to cut costs as much as they can. And I've never been to a restaurant out and about except for, what's that fried chicken place that's closed on Sunday?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A uses avocado oil, I believe. They don't use soybean oil. That's one of the, but all these other fried chicken places are using just terrible oils, even Publix and all these places. So read your labels. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Thank you, Bill. Okay. Thank you. A great seminar. You say the stomach has a lot of acid in it. What if you eat a lot of fruits and a lot of acidic things, including pineapple? You say pineapple is good, but it's just acidic. Is there such a thing as having too much acid in your stomach?
Yes. Acidosis, I think, is the term, if I'm not mistaken. And some people do have too much acid. And that's why it might be a good reason, if you're having some digestive issues and it's not corrected by other measures, go in and have it tested. See your doctor and have them find out what level of acid you do have. Seldom do people, as we get older, have too much acid, but I'm not going to say it never happens, you know. But I don't think eating acidic fruit, because it's kind of low on the scale of acidity, is going to create that much of a problem. Yeah, I don't think that's going to create an issue. But if, you know, keep a food log if you think that might have an issue with you. Okay, I've never run into that. Some people, though, are allergic to pineapple. You know, so.
some people just don't like pineapple?
Pardon?
Some people just don't like pineapple.
Yeah, some people don't like pineapple. Yes, ma'am.
Which oil do you recommend?
Which what?
Oil do you recommend?
Which oil do you recommend?
Oil. Well, as I said, for sautéing or light frying, olive oil is a great oil. Otherwise, I mean, I use coconut oil for just about everything. A lot of people are going back to lard and tallow, beef fat and pig fat, because it doesn't spoil. I remember years and years ago when I was growing up, we used to keep a little can of bacon grease on the stove for weeks and weeks and weeks. It doesn't, saturated oils don't break down and spoil. So you could cook with lard. I mean, I saw some containers of duck fat, saturated fat. So don't believe all the hoopla about how bad saturated fat is, even though it's got cholesterol in it, because we need cholesterol. Our brain uses a lot of cholesterol, and that's why I think the people that are on these statin medications have mental issues, because they're lacking the cholesterol. Okay. I knew we were going to go.
You were going to talk about apple cider vinegar.
Oh, apple cider vinegar can help to increase that stomach acid. Thank you. And that's a great thing. You don't have to use that organic. It's probably better because it might have other benefits. But take a little apple cider vinegar from time to time, and it'll increase the acid in your stomach. That's a great ad. Thank you so much for that. Yes, ma'am.
Years ago, I used to take the apple vinegar with the mother, they call it,
Yeah.
and a little bit of lime and water. But I stopped, and there's people that are doing it, so I bought the apple mother vinegar and so forth.
Yeah.
What is the real purpose of that? How does it help? They do it every morning.
How does the vinegar help, or how does the vinegar with
How
the
does it
with the
taking
mother help?
How does it benefit to take a little bit of apple vinegar with the mother,
Yeah.
and a little lemon and honey and a little water in the morning? They do it every morning. So
Well,
I
it
was
all
thinking of
it stimulates our digestive system, and the vinegar, of course, and the lime will give you a little bit more acidity if you need it. However, some people have too much acid in their coffee. How many coffee drinkers are here this morning? Any espresso drinkers here? Carlos isn't here this morning. All right. Sometimes I'll put a little teaspoon of baking soda or a quarter of a teaspoon of baking soda in my French press to cut back that acid of my coffee. My mother used to sprinkle salt in the percolator because salt is a base and it'll break down some of that acid, but it would give all flavor to my coffee. So I put just a little bit of baking soda and it'll cut down that acid in your coffee if anybody has a problem with it. These are great questions. Yes, ma'am.
Could you talk about store-bought salad dressing?
Store-bought what?
Salad dressings.
Oh, whew. You want me to try to find something good about it or bad about it?
Is there anything good?
You don't have to spend the time and effort. But normally it's 90% of it's made from soybean oil, which is genetically modified, and it's got so much other garbage in there. It's hard to say. You might find really a good salad oil at Whole Foods or something like that that doesn't have soybean oil. It might have avocado oil, which is good. But most of the salad dressings I've seen around here have, even Aldi's, loaded with soybean oil. So I try to stay away from that. And so other things in there you might want to stay away from. They've got thickeners and all this other kind of stuff. If you have the time and the effort to make your own, that's always the best way to go. Yes?
You're going to run overtime. You had mentioned baking soda, using that with just plain water?
Yeah.
Like if you get some acid reflux or something?
Yeah, I mean, we naturally produce sodium bicarbonate before food leaves our stomach and goes into our small intestine to cut down on the acidity, which would burn our intestines. So we produce that normally. But what I do is use just like a quarter of a teaspoonful in 4 to 6 ounces of water at night. Helps a lot, Thank you. I'm getting in my steps.
Yeah, about putting it in the coffee.
Yep.
What do you put, like a teaspoon in
Oh,
in the
just
coffee?
maybe a quarter of a teaspoon.
Okay. But you know, when you were talking about the lard, I remember, we can all probably remember when we were young, with my mom had the Crisco can, and you'd make bacon, and she'd pour the bacon.
Yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, that's-
yeah.
and we were fine.
Reuse it, reuse it.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Same with hamburger grease, but bacon grease tastes a lot better. All right, all right. Well, this has been great roundabout conversation, which I normally have. Very seldom when I give a lecture do we stay on topic. So thank you for all these off questions that you've got. And maybe we'll have another class here in another month or so on another topic.
I hope so. Thanks.
All
Give a round of applause for Dr. Mike Edwards.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Y'all
Good-
be well.
Good
Thank you.
information. All right, we are going to we will take a break here, but we're going to do some door prizes. So Nancy is actually on assignment right now. She's there's actually a senior health fair that's going on, and so we're represented out there with that as well today. But so I want to make sure Carlette Della Quadri with Flamazing Real Estate, one of our great Helping Seniors partners, has been kind enough to stand in and make sure we get the door prizes put out. I want to acknowledge Mika. Come on up, Mika, with Beyond Balance. Mika is the sponsor of the snacks that you're about to enjoy back there. She is a great friend of the Helping Seniors. We get the privilege of working together in a group called Golden Providers and a lot of other things that great. And she is also head of the Brevard Parkinson's Association here in Brevard. So person who's doing a lot of great work for seniors. But so I wanted her to explain who she is and talk a little bit about her company, Beyond Balance.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you all for being here. I am an occupational therapist. Like you said, my name is Mika Allen. I own Beyond Balance Therapy Services. We are a mobile outpatient occupational therapy practice. So other than having clients come to our clinic, we actually go to their home or communities where they are and provide OT services. We specialize in neurological conditions such as Parkinson's, stroke, traumatic brain injury, dementia. I could go on and on, but we also treat clients with any kind of difficulty they may be having, such as eating, bathing, dressing, managing their household, managing their finances, managing medication, anything that has to do with living life. We can help someone either get back to how they were doing it before or alter it and adapt to another way that they may be doing it. We also work with home safety, fall prevention, recommendations for home modifications and safety within the home. It might be simpler to say aging in place safely. Again, we do specialize in neuro, but we service clients with all types of needs. I'm really happy to be a part of Helping Seniors now as an official sponsor. Our history goes back a couple of years, back to when Beyond Balance came about. Golden Providers Luncheon was one of the first networking events that I went to, and these folks are amazing and welcoming and do so much for seniors in our community. I am very proud to be a part of it. Thank you. You know, I do occupational therapy, so that's my scope of practice, and I might go into a home and someone needs help with insurance, or they need rock steady boxing, they need something else, and I can call on these folks for assistance. So it's a great organization to be a part of, and thank you for all you do for the community. Thank you.
All right. So I feel like the kid where mom gave a little checklist, like this is what you do when I'm not home. so on behalf of Nancy, she said we have door prizes, and we're really grateful for the opportunity to do this. And so Carlette kindly volunteered to help me. So I think the thing is, let's pick a door prize, then we'll pull a ticket, and the person who provided the door prize gets to come up and say who they are. So where do we want to start, Carlette? What do you think? We'll start with the flower arrangement. Who is a flower arrangement here? Somebody? Anybody? Jackie, come on up. Oh, okay. We'll come back to that. That's Jackie Esterline with Brookdale, West Melbourne. Great place and great lady. So we're going to have AARP. So Karen Civitate, who is the lead Florida AARP volunteer. What did I tell you is happening this Saturday at Merritt Square Mall from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.? It is Senior Appreciation Day. So you want to come out. There's going to be like 30 different vendors out there. Lots of fun going on. They're going to have music, probably some snacks and stuff. I don't.
There's snacks. There's a lot of raffle prizes, really cool stuff.
Yeah, so you want to be out there and collect the loot, if nothing else. All right.
Everybody except Steve.
Oh,
Not gonna win anything.
oh.
I'm kidding. He knows that.
And you know, there's so many things during the break. Make sure you stop back at the table because there's also an event we're doing, ARP Dominoes or something up at one senior place.
And it's not like Dominoes. It's an easy Dominoes that you don't have to know all those hard rules. So it's really, really fun. And food.
And then also the ARP chapter starts back. Is it September?
September, third Monday of the month in September. Yep.
For those of us in Palm Bay, please don't miss that. So anything else that you want to say about ARP?
We also have a Movies for Grown-Ups coming in September, so it's a free movie at AMC. The best thing to do, because I can't remember everything, we have a little business card back on the table. If you grab that, it has a QR code. It stays updated, so you could do the QR code. It tells you all the events. You can do it tomorrow, and they might have events that have been added, and you get all the events that are in Brevard County.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And one final point, put on your calendar, I think it's November 20th for the Scam Jam, or is it November 10th? I have to look that up. There is a Scam Jam coming up in Titusville, and I had a really good conversation with one of the head folks from the SEC who is coming to talk about their perspective about investment scams. So this is going to be the last one you guys remember we did over at Zon, which was pretty much AI focused. This is going to go back to more or less our usual format. Karen shares about Fraud Watch Network. We have a great lady, Jackie, with PNC Bank. She'll come in and talk about keeping your identity safe. We will have Greg Schweineman from Rhodes Law come in and talk about senior scams, and of course somebody from law enforcement as well to join us. But I'm really excited. This is one of the head folks with the SEC who's going to come in from the federal government and talk a little bit about investment scams and different things that they're familiar with. So it's always free. I'll double check the date so I'm not giving you the wrong information. But it is in Titusville, and one of the reasons we do that is because we need to get this information all over the county, right? So we appreciate you guys being here with us in Melbourne, but we did one down in Palm Bay earlier this year. We did one out in Vieira, and this time the next one's going to be up in Titusville. So do you have a number for us?
I have a number.
And the number is?
34092. Let me see whose faces light up. 4.
All right. And what is this?
This is a $25 gift card.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that. All right, let's do another one. Is this from you? Oh my goodness, Carlette. Listen, I wanna brag on Carlette for a minute. She's been a partner helping seniors for many years. I think we first met when we were at the original Senior Resource Center over at Zon. And all of that, going that far back. But her company, don't forget to get your photo with Fiona, the pink flamingo. So everything is here. But I like to brag on you because by trade, you're a registered nurse. So you have all that in your wheelhouse. But you're also a senior real estate specialist, so you understand senior real estate transactions. And then you're a downsizing expert. So you kind of have everything together. Now, tell us about what you do.
Well, thanks, Kerry. I think you just hit all the 3 key points. So my name is Carlette Delaquadri. I'm the broker-owner of Flamazing Real Estate. I've been in Brevard County selling real estate for 10 years. I've been a nurse in Brevard County for 30-plus years. Yes, I was 10 when I got started. But anyway, what's so great about working with Flamazing Real Estate and somebody with all of the experience that I have is because I am a nurse. When I go and meet with my seniors that need to transition into smaller living spaces, I've got my clinical hat on first. I think once you are a nurse, you're always a nurse no matter where you go. So I see heads shaking back there. But so there could be things that I'm going to talk to you about that a traditional real estate agent would not be comfortable speaking to you about because they're not clinical. And I want your transition to be safe. I want you safe from the minute that we meet. If you need additional services or anything else while we're doing the transition from home into that smaller living space, whatever it is, We just want to make sure it's smooth and that you have a amazing experience.
Awesome. And then we have a ticket.
We have a ticket, and the lucky number is 340-9205.
Ooh, well, lucky couple.
You have a spa basket.
All right. Thank you, Carlette. And thank you for helping us organize this. Let's do one more, and then we'll take a break. Not Jackie yet, so we'll find one more. We can do the zoo tickets. Let's do the zoo tickets. So we have a couple of zoo tickets that the Brevard Zoo donated to helping seniors. I think these do have to be used like within a month or so. Maybe it's 2 months. But anyway, Nancy said, please give these out to somebody who wants to go to the zoo. So with that, you know what Helping Seniors is. Thank you for being here at the Senior Resource Center. Thank you for supporting our work. We so appreciate you guys being here. We have no reason to exist other than to try to be the best help that we can be. So that's what we do. And he's going to try to read the number, which is 3409. And here we go, 203. Who's going to the zoo? All right. All right. With that, let's take a little bit of break. Please do visit all these great folks here. We so appreciate them being here. This is what it's about, is finding good resources so everybody can be connected. We're going to take like 5 to 7 minutes, snacks back there, but make sure you get a chance to visit with all the resources here. Thanks.